What is up, everyone? How are you doing? My name is Paul. I am a dropshipper who makes a ton of videos here on YouTube all about dropshipping on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. I do these lives every single week for you guys to answer any questions you might have about dropshipping, making money online, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Amazon, whatever. This week we have a very special announcement, so I just want to give like a minute for people to get in here before I make the announcement for all of you. Let's quickly jump into chat. If you are here, say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're chiming in from, and then we'll get into the content. I'll let you guys know what these big updates are that we are talking about. Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. Hello. Hey, what's up, Jib Jab from Pittsburgh? Jamie from Pittsburgh as well. New cut. Yep, that's the big announcement. I got a new haircut. That's what all the excitement was about. Shaved off all my hair. No. I'll talk about that in a minute too. We'll wait for more people to get in here. What's up, everyone? What's up, Josen? Thanks for being here. Thanks for helping me out. What's up, Julie? All right, everyone. So yeah, normally this I do them every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's kind of like a chance for you guys to ask any questions, but I'm taking the opportunity this week to kind of explain some new things that I've been experimenting with on eBay that I really want to start sharing with all of you. When it comes to drop shipping, different ways to make money online in general, and really specifically eBay, I'm always experimenting and trying new things. On eBay, I think that's particularly important for me because I've been doing it for so long and it has changed over the years. Drop shipping on eBay, selling on eBay has changed over the years. And the only way to really know how to do it well is to keep experimenting and trying new stuff. So I think it's pretty easy to become stagnant and to say, well, this worked before, so it's going to continue to work, or this hasn't worked in the past, so it's not going to work anymore. I think it's pretty easy to say that, but that's what gets you stuck if you're not trying new stuff. And I think that's why so many people who have tried dropshipping, tried making money online different ways in the past, tried eBay in the past, why they've gotten left behind, so to speak, because they haven't been willing to adapt and to keep up with changes. Now, one area in particular when it comes to eBay dropshipping that has changed quite a bit has been my view around and my opinion on API software. And this has definitely changed a lot for me over the years. Now, if you're not familiar with this, let me catch you up on this whole API software debate. So we use software to run and automate our dropshipping stores. The one I use now that I've used for a couple of years now is called AutoDS. So if I ever mention AutoDS, what I'm talking about is a software that allows you to list items onto eBay. It will reprice them. It will change the stock levels for you. If, for instance, the item is from Walmart and Walmart goes out of stock, then AutoDS will make sure that that item on eBay goes out of stock as well. Same thing with price changes. There's a lot more the software can do, which I'll get into why that's important in a second. Now, there's two different ways that this software can work with eBay, integrate with eBay. And in other words, two different ways that it could tell eBay to make these changes and updates to our listings. The first way is with API, and the second way is using non-API. And API, that's like the letters API. It stands for something. I actually don't know what it stands for. Someone in chat's going to let me know what API stands for. But API, what it is it's a direct connection between the software and eBay. They are directly talking with each other. And using full API has a lot of benefits. Mainly, the software that's API, it will work 24/7. Your computer doesn't have to be on. You don't have to be logged into the software. It's just going to keep working. In other words, price changes, stock level changes, all happen automatically. Plus, it unlocks a lot of features that are helpful. Things like being able to message customers through the software, seeing orders through the software, and even things like auto ordering through the software. So API is very, very powerful and integrated in that way. But what happened was a few years ago, eBay started to penalize people who were drop shipping by lowering their listings in the search results. And we called this flagging. Now, no one knows exactly why eBay did this. They don't exactly know how eBay was identifying drop shippers. But one theory was that eBay saw that we were using this software and that they were able to see it because it was API software. And they identified us as drop shippers and lowered our listings in the search results. So we stopped using API software and we started using non-API software. Non-API software, it still allows us to list items and reprice them and restock them, but it's not a direct connection. Everything is kind of done a different way, usually with a Chrome extension that does it, which means that your computer has to be on and your browser has to be on. You have to be logged in order for it to work and to be updating. But the benefit there is that eBay would never know that we were using software. To them, it would look like someone was manually going onto eBay and making all these changes themselves. So pros and cons to both of them, in my eyes, at that time. API had a lot more integration, a lot more automation, a lot more features available. Non-API could only do basic stuff, and it wasn't fully automated. Things wouldn't work if your computer was off, for instance. But the benefit there is that eBay, the theory was, would never know that you were using that software. So in order to kind of keep my account as safe as possible, I was using non-API software, and I was doing that for years. And that's what I kind of recommended to people to avoid that flagging, so to speak. But then over the past, I'd say year and a half, maybe even like close to 2 years, we began to notice that eBay was changing again. And we kind of noticed that eBay pretty much kind of stopped penalizing people for drop shipping. We just don't see that like we used to. So the whole issue is kind of a moot one at that point, because like I said, even if they figured out that you were drop shipping, it's like they stopped caring anymore. Now, I just want to clarify something, because people always felt, there's always these kind of theories or rumors, I should say, that if you were caught drop shipping, you would be banned from eBay. And we just have never seen that to be true. They never took it to that extreme. It was just lowering your listings in the search results. But like I said, in the past couple of years, we just haven't seen that really happening. And then other things just didn't make sense to me about the whole API debate. Even if eBay didn't like drop shippers, the weird thing was that eBay has approved several software companies to work with their API system, like AutoDS. So kind of the thing that doesn't make sense to me is, if eBay doesn't like dropshipping, then why would they continue to approve the software? Because the software does have to get approved from time to time. They have to increase their limits. They put in an application in order to increase their API limits, and those limits have always been approved. So that kind of never made sense to me, right? If the API software was the issue, then why does eBay continue to allow it to exist? And in general, if dropshipping on eBay is an issue for eBay, why do they allow dropshipping software at all? So that kind of made me feel like, the more I thought about it, that it really wasn't a problem. More importantly, I started talking to more and more dropshippers who, over the past couple of years, as we've seen eBay penalizing less and less people, we've seen more and more people switch back to API software from non-API, and they said they saw zero difference in their stores or in their sales at all. And I've talked to people, a lot of my students who have done it. I've talked to people who I really trust who have done it. Some of my friends and colleagues, so to speak, people who are really doing well with dropshipping, who have made that switch and seen zero difference. I've always been super cautious. I've always kind of take the more conservative route. So I was hesitant to change back to API just to be safe, and like, better safe than sorry. But like I said, it is a lot more powerful. So I began to test the API software myself. I made a switch on one of my accounts a few months ago, and I've seen no difference. I haven't seen any sort of negative impact to that account at all. Only positive impacts, because it's allowed me to automate more, allowed me to have things working with computers off and things like that. A lot more seamless of an experience and a lot more features that are unlocked. And I've talked to people who switched over a year ago now at this point, and their accounts have seen zero impact on it at all. So I no longer feel that API software is an issue. I don't see any difference in volume of sales. I haven't been penalized. And API, it just works. It works much, much better. So I'm making this video now to kind of say my opinion has changed. My opinion for a while was I'm not a fan of API software. I don't think it's a good idea. But my opinion has changed now, and I think that it's working fine. I don't see any problem with API software moving forward, and especially having just the ease of use of it, the full integration of it. I think it's a much, much better choice, to be honest. Now, anytime I make one of these announcements like this, I always get some sort of pushback, and that's totally understandable, right? People get frustrated because I've taught them one method, I've recommended one thing, and then I change it on them. And I get that that's frustrating, but I promise you guys, I'm only doing this because I think that this is the best thing for you and your store. It's going to be the easiest thing. It's going to be the thing that just makes your life a lot easier as a dropshipper, because you don't have to worry about all the workarounds with non-API. And in fact, this actually hurts me in a way, because the old non-API method that I used to teach, it actually required you to use a Chrome extension that I developed that you would have to pay me to be able to use. And now you don't have to use that Chrome extension anymore. So I'm not getting any money from that, from everyone who leaves and for that reason, and leaves the Chrome extension for that reason. So it actually hurts me in some ways, but I'm just being honest with you guys about what actually works, even if that means you're not using my software anymore, my Chrome extension anymore. So for any students inside my course, I want to kind of share with you how the course is going to be changed and updated to reflect these things. I'll be adding lessons into the course about how to use API software. It's not going to be a lot of lessons that change. Pretty much every lesson that talks about how to use AutoDS, I'm going to delete it and put in a new lesson all about how to use it API, which again, like I said, is actually a lot easier to use and a lot simpler and more straightforward. Some other changes I'm going to be adding to the course at the same time is I'm going to add in a couple more lessons or new lessons about Amazon, dropshipping from Amazon. Dropshipping from Amazon is something that for years I've recommended that you don't do, primarily because I, again, thought it was something that identified you as a dropshipper, which doesn't seem to be the case. And then Amazon stopped allowing dropshipping, where if you were dropshipping from Amazon, Amazon would shut down your account. Now we have ways around that, especially if you're using API software. So there'll be information about how you can use Amazon in the course now if you choose to dropship from Amazon. And the last recommendation is one I do want to kind of put out there so people know my change in stance on this, and that's the global shipping program. I don't mean to overwhelm you guys with too much, but I do want to quickly touch on the global shipping program as well. The global shipping program is, for most eBay sellers, non-drop shippers, it's a very easy way to sell stuff overseas. Instead of having to ship your item, like arrange to ship it to another country, all you have to do is, if someone buys it through eBay's global shipping program, you only have to ship it to eBay, and then eBay will forward that package overseas for you. That's all well and good. I loved it in the past. Now, for most people, I don't think the global shipping program is a good idea. Pretty much if you're using Walmart and Amazon, I mean, because Walmart and Amazon will both give you tracking numbers that aren't great tracking numbers. We have ways kind of to fix that, but for the purposes of global shipping program, it's been messing a lot of people up. So if you're using Walmart and Amazon to dropship from, The global shipping program is not a good idea anymore because your packages are just going to get lost. So those are kind of the 3 updates: API, dropshipping from Amazon, and the global shipping program, which I no longer recommend that most people use. So inside the course for all my students, inside my eBay dropshipping course, the specific lessons that have been updated, most of module 3 has now been updated. Well, sorry, it's going to be updated by the end of the day today. That talks about suppliers that you should use. I've updated stuff about Amazon in there. And then all my lessons about my product research, I've updated those as well. Nothing's changed with that. With how I do my product research or my recommendations for it, it's the same thing. But every year, I like to update those lessons because product research is the most important thing. If there's one skill you have to master as a dropshipper to be successful, it's product research. So I always want to make sure those lessons are as fresh as possible, the latest information. So about every year, I will update all the lessons about product research. So I just updated those. Those ones are actually live already for you to check out. I added an advanced Zeek Analytics video in there kind of as a bonus for you. I already have videos in the course about how to use Zeek Analytics, like a full mini course that's included for free. I have an advanced tutorial in there now as well that I did with Nahar, who's the founder of Zeek Analytics, because there's a lot of new features available. So I want to make sure you guys have all that information. So that's module 3. Module 4 has been updated as well. That's all about how to set up the software. Again, I'll show you how to do with API. One thing to note, if you already have an AutoDS account, you don't have to sign up for a new one. You can use your existing account and just add in an API store. In fact, I'll show you in a second what to do. If you have a non-API store and you want to switch over to an API store, I'll show you right here on this call kind of how to do that. It's very simple. So you can just use your existing AutoDS account and sign up for an API store. Lessons on how to list items, those are going to be updated by the end of the day. In module 6, I will add a lesson all about auto ordering, how you can set it up. This is something that's a huge benefit of using API software. If you're using API, you can set up auto ordering, meaning software like AutoDS, there's some other ones as well, will actually order your items for you so you don't have to actually go in, or a virtual assistant doesn't have to go in and order everything. So powerful, especially during Q4, to save you a lot of time and really be able to focus on adding products and growing your store. So I have a lesson in there on how to do that. And then just small stuff like the lesson on tracking numbers and returns. I've updated that a little bit too, based on added new information in there in case you are using auto ordering. So those are kind of the main updates. I'll send an email to everyone in the course as well, pointing specifically to the lessons. And I'll do that when I'm done uploading everything, which again, I'll do by the end of the day today. So you have all that fresh information. The biggest changes again are really, we are talking about using full API now. We're talking about you can dropship from Amazon if you do it the right way, and small changes. I don't think for most people the global shipping program is a safe bet anymore. So I'd kind of recommend against that. If you guys do have a non-API store already, then there's a great article by AutoDS that actually details how you can switch it to an API store, and it's very easy to do. I'll kind of just talk through it real quick here. First, if you have the Chrome extension installed, the non-API Chrome extension, you want to uninstall that first. Make sure you do that. And you can do that just by right-clicking on the Chrome extension, or if you're on a MacBook, hold down Control and click it, and then just remove from Chrome, because that's simple to do it. Then what you want to do is log into your AutoDS account, and on the top left, you'll see this little pencil icon underneath where it says AutoDS. You want to click on that, and then click on find the store that you want to convert to an API one. Click the 3 dots, and then just click where it says Convert to API. You'll then have to log into eBay to make the connection, agree, and that's it. It will pull in all the information from eBay, it will reconcile it. It won't happen fully instantaneously, but it will be pretty fast. And then if you have any sort of problems with that, they're kind of standing by. I gave them a heads up about this so they know some people will be switching over. If you have any questions, you can just chat in down here on the bottom right. There's a chat here and ask them for help. They've done this before, so they know how to do it. All right, let me see what kind of questions people have. I know we got a lot of just questions like normal, but let's see what people, if any people have questions about kind of these updates. Is it a problem to use Amazon tracking on eBay? Because I've been doing that. Yeah, it can be a problem. You don't want to use Amazon tracking numbers. So this is what I was talking about before. This is one of the problems with using Amazon. This is one of the reasons I recommended against it for a while. And that's because when items ship with Amazon, a lot of times they come with Amazon tracking numbers. Those aren't UPS, they're not FedEx, they're Amazon's own tracking numbers. And for a while, you couldn't even upload them into eBay. Now they actually let you, but we don't ever put them in there. We want to convert those into usable ones, and that's something that AutoDS can do for you. By the way, guys, underneath this video will be a link to my eBay dropshipping course if you want to join as well. I think there's a link to AutoDS as well if you want to join using my affiliate link. All that should be down in the description down below. I know we have a lot of general questions. I just kind of want to see if there's any specific questions about what I've covered, and then we'll kind of get to the more general questions. Julie says, doesn't eBay require you to use a global shipping program when shipping overseas? I thought you're not covered as a seller if you don't use it. So what I'm recommending, Julie, great question. Let's clarify that. You can ship overseas without the global shipping program. I believe there are some other alternatives, and I think they're even rolling out a new alternative to it. But what I'm recommending is that you don't ship items overseas at all anymore. And that's partly because of that tracking number issue, where those tracking numbers won't be something that can be traced by eBay well, especially if you're using Walmart, because sometimes Walmart will actually deliver with DoorDash, meaning someone will actually hand deliver the item. There's no tracking number at all. And that's a big problem for the global shipping program. Yeah, I've seen people jump into eBay right away with an API and have no problems with it. Cyber Player says, besides Target and Amazon, what other suppliers should we avoid? Like I was just saying, Amazon you can actually use now if you do it the right way. I mean, one way to do is set up auto ordering so a service does it for you. Another way is if you just don't use a Prime account. Target's one that I would avoid though, because they do cancel. They do not like drop shippers. What API software do you use for wholesale dropshipping? Great question. Thanks for asking it so I can kind of clarify this. The software that I've been talking about is software that we use for retail dropshipping. So that is not for wholesale, although I think some of the software will start adding some wholesale accounts. There are a few software companies that do it for wholesale, but none that I can recommend. One big one is Inventory Source, but it's just really expensive. You have to do I believe it's like $100 per wholesale supplier that you work with. So it just doesn't make sense. It's pretty dang expensive. I heard that can I use Walmart Plus to dropship to eBay? No, you can. If you start using Walmart Plus, then they'll eventually shut down your Walmart Plus account. Your Walmart account will be fine, but the Plus account will get shut down. So just use regular Walmart. Same thing with Amazon. Don't use Amazon Prime, just use regular Amazon. Let's see. Wally wants to know, is it okay to change from non-API to API? Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I did that's what I just kind of showed you how to do, and I know plenty of people have done it as well. But AutoDS managed accounts fulfilled by AutoDS has limits. So again, it would be a problem to order from Amazon to eBay. What specific limits do you mean? You should reach out to them for the more specifics about it. But like I said, if you want to use Amazon, again, you can do it just without Prime. Thank you, Omar. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, Wally. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, that's what Liren said. Because Liren said it's no problem to use API because eBay allows it. He said the flags are because retail websites. All right. Yeah, I think the if you really want to avoid flags entirely, the only real way to do it would be to use wholesale suppliers, which is something else I teach in my course. You get a whole separate course. When you join my eBay course, you'll get the eBay course, which teaches you how to dropship from retail suppliers. There's a whole separate course that teaches you how to dropship from wholesale suppliers. So you can go that route if that's what you want to do. And I explain the differences to you. But like I said, the flag is something that people haven't been seeing them get penalized. There you go, Tyler, coming in with the information. Application Programming Interface is what API stands for. He thinks. Sounds right to me. API versus manual. Yeah, and I think it will be an ongoing debate. I think for a while, I think it was a smart thing to do. Go non-API to protect our accounts, and just because there was a lot going on and we had no idea. Like eBay is not going to tell us what they're looking at, what's identifying us. It just kind of seemed to come out of nowhere. And quite frankly, it really doesn't make a lot of sense that they would penalize us. We bring them a lot of money in sales, and they can use more money from us, quite frankly. So, I mean, for them to put so much time and money into something that would identify us as dropshippers and then penalize us for it, it seems like such a waste of time and resources when they could be actually doing stuff to grow their platform, to get more customers, right? Like that, I think, would be a much better use of time and money and resources. But hey, I'm not the CEO. Let's see. All right. Appreciate you. Would you do wholesale and retail dropshipping under one eBay account or separate accounts? So at first, I would do them under one account. If you already have an eBay account, you've already set it up, you're doing something on it, you can do both of them under one account. That way you don't have like two accounts going and you're not even sure which one's going to work for you, or maybe you're doing retail and it's working for you, but you're not sure if wholesale is going to work. So you're opening up a new account. I think it's better just to test it under the existing account. If it starts to take off, then switch everything over to a new account if you want to stay organized. But in the beginning, just so that you don't have to go through the whole process of setting up a new account and having it kind of sitting there if it doesn't work out for you for whatever reason, or you don't like it as much as you like retail drop shipping. That way it's just a little bit easier. Peter says, I've been listing items from Amazon. I ship to myself and then print and ship using eBay labels. Little extra work, but it works. It's interesting. So that's more like online arbitrage. A lot of people flip items from eBay to Amazon. That's what my buddy Steve does. But it sounds like you're flipping from Amazon to eBay. Not a bad method. I'm kind of curious if you wait for the item to sell first before you order it from Amazon. or if you're kind of like stockpiling items like true online arbitrage. Very interesting method there, Peter. Kind of curious to hear more about it. I've actually been doing some online arbitrage myself. So I've been getting stuff in from like eBay and selling on Amazon. I'll be talking more about that on the channel. It's definitely not drop shipping, but it's kind of close. Igor says, when you mention eBay stores, do you have multiple accounts to hedge against eBay suspending you? Are you using non-API with another store? That I do have multiple eBay stores, but that's not the reason why. If you have multiple eBay stores, they're all linked together. So eBay, like let's see how many accounts I have. I definitely have 2. Well, I definitely have 3. And I think I even have more than that I've just kind of forgotten about. In the past, I used to set up eBay accounts like for all different reasons, sometimes just for YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if I had like 8 different accounts and I've forgotten most of them. But there's 3 that I definitely know about. But the reason I had that is because one was my main account when I started. And then another account I set up to use with another supplier. And then another one I set up kind of just for YouTube videos. And then I've kind of like moved around products in different stores based on what I was doing and experimenting with. Like I used one just for wholesale for a while and things like that, just to kind of test out and kind of stay organized that way. But it was never really a hedge against an eBay suspension because, like I said, all those accounts are linked. If one account was suspended, eBay will usually shut down all of the accounts as well. So that's not the reason I do it. If you're doing everything right, your eBay account should not get shut down. This should not be an issue. Okay. I know I'm not normally answering these questions in order, but I'm just kind of all over the place today, so I apologize for that. How do I get my buyers to leave feedback? Some of them received items but didn't leave any feedback. Thanks. It's really hard to get buyers to leave feedback. You can reach out and send them a message. That's pretty much all you can do. Just say, hey, if you're happy with the experience, I would appreciate, well, first you should say, hey, if you have any problems with your order, any problems with the item, let me know. Let me see if I can make it right for you. But if you're happy with your order, then please, I would appreciate a review, and here's the way to do it. Most people are just not going to do that, though. They are, it's just the nature of it. Marjorie does arbitrage. Sherry Ang says, if you're doing wholesale and retail dropshipping in one account, what's your process in tracking what is retail, what is wholesale items being listed, purchased, fulfilled, etc.? Oh, so simple. So anything we list that is retail, it's going to be inside AutoDS. So that software is a really easy way to stay organized if you're doing retail dropshipping, especially if you're doing just retail dropshipping, because all your items will be in there. It will have in there a link to the supplier's website so you can order it yourself if you're not doing auto ordering or auto fulfillment. So that's all organized in AutoDS. Everything else as wholesale, you can keep in a spreadsheet, pretty much is the best way to do it. So if an order comes in, you can search for it on AutoDS, or if it doesn't come up there, then search in your spreadsheet. Oh, there it is. That must be a wholesale item. That's it. Is this what Natalie Portman is doing now? I don't know what that means exactly. Let's see. AutoDS Auto with other suppliers than Amazon. Yeah, so they work with a couple different suppliers. It's changing. So they have an article that they update with suppliers they work with. I think Walmart and Home Depot or some other ones, and AliExpress as well, I believe. Is there an order? What is the order for creating an eBay, creating a Payoneer, collecting cookies, uploading a product from home, starting to use the software? How many products? A little bit confused. So if you're trying to sell on eBay, just sign up for an eBay account. If you're here in the United States, you're going to connect it with a bank account. I'm not sure what you mean by collecting cookies. Kind of lost on that, to be honest. Joe says, I have 780, 100% positive feedback. So I use this account or start a new dropshipping account. My advice is always, Joe, if you are using that account already, actively using it, like you're doing, let's say, garage stores, thrift stores, something like that, then create a new eBay account. Keep things separate. If you're not using that account, then yeah, go ahead and use that account for dropshipping. So I just got to turn on my AC. It's getting a little warm in here. I found out I could do it from my watch, which is pretty nice. There we go. Okay. How can I dropship without an agent? Is CJ dropshipping good? What do you mean by an agent? I've never heard of that. An agent for dropshipping? What do you mean by that? I don't use CJ dropshipping. I don't recommend you dropship from China. There are plenty of suppliers based here in the United States that are really good to use. And customers will get their items faster, usually better quality items, easier returns, easier customer service. Just kind of a great, easier way to go. When is the next meetup? I haven't done a meetup in ages, to be honest. Mainly because, I did them maybe like once a year for a couple of years. And then, especially when I was in New York City, it was a lot easier because there's a lot of people there compared to where I've moved since then. But then COVID happened and just never got back into it from then. Maybe I'll do a meetup in the future, maybe in Denver. That's close to where I am now. I will be in Miami in February for an Amazon convention, conference, I should say. But yeah, maybe I got to do one for dropshipping soon again. Can I use AutoDS for any site like wholesale supplier sites? No, they only work with a list of specific suppliers. If you're not on that list, if the supplier you want is not on that list, you can reach out to their support and just ask them to add it. And if they get enough requests for it, they can add it. That is one of the limitations of AutoDS. There's some software out there that works with a lot more. Like SKUGrid is a software like AutoDS, does repricing, restocking. It works with a lot of suppliers, a lot of them. But what I don't like about SKUGrid is that it doesn't have all the features AutoDS has. It's not as user-friendly either. I love AutoDS's interface. Very easy to use for beginners. It's a lot easier. I prefer it. I kind of went over this. You can use it if you don't use it for anything else. I mean, you could use it, but for organization, if you have an existing business, then I would create a separate account. Okay, question about AutoDS's auto ordering feature. It's from Raider. It says, have you had auto orders actually lose profit while waiting for processing? Do you recommend the feature that cancels orders if profit is lost? So that is one of the settings that you can set up inside AutoDS. Basically, the setting will say, hey, if AutoDS is trying to auto order this and the item is actually going to lose money for whatever reason, do you want to lose the money, to fulfill the order and lose the money, or do you want to cancel it? I've set a threshold, I think it's like $5. So I'm willing to lose like $5 on an order, just have the order go through. And that's because I'm at the point where for me, like it's more important than making money on that one sale is to have an order that goes through, have the customer happy, and not have to deal with kind of the implications of a canceled order, and things like that. The reasons you might lose money is if you didn't price the item correctly, which shouldn't happen, because if you set up AutoDS correctly, that shouldn't happen. Or if the order comes in and the auto order takes too long to go through for whatever reason, and between those times, the price of the item has gone up, which can happen. What do you recommend for a promotion rate on eBay? 15% I think is too high. I mean, it depends on your margins, but 15% is going to destroy your margins. You can really do super low. I mean, you could start with 1%, see if it works. And if it works, raise it to 2%. Then you can raise it to 3%. And just kind of see, you got to kind of do a balancing act based on your margins. But even just 1%, we've seen quite a difference with that. How many products does Home Depot have? Gosh, I don't know. Home Depot is a great supplier. How many products on Home Depot? I don't know. It says they have over 1 million products, so I don't doubt that. They're big. So that's when people always say like, oh man, it's saturated, like everyone's coming on and drop shipping the same products. I mean, with 1 million products on Home Depot alone, a lot of those items are exclusive to Home Depot, and Walmart has the same thing. They probably have more items and more exclusive items. Same thing with Amazon. There are so many items out there that haven't been listed on eBay before. So much potential if you know where to look for them. Yeah, so in this case, if, like I said before, this is Walmart not giving you a tracking number. This is something that's been updated in my course recently. Actually, that's a good point. I totally forgot about that. Inside my lesson about tracking numbers inside the course, there'll be a new lesson in there, a replacement lesson that goes over tracking numbers, how to deal with them in cases when there's auto ordering, how to upload them into AutoDS if you're using AutoDS API, and what to do if you don't have a tracking number, like what happens with Walmart or Amazon. Some really easy solutions for that. So follow-up question about the agent. I saw many videos where they were talking about a shipping agent so your product can ship faster. By the way, I'm not from the United States, so do you have any recommendations for supply and shipping? So it sounds like what you're talking about, I could be mistaken, but it sounds like what you're talking about is like private label FBA, where you're ordering like pallets of items from China, bringing them to the United States, labeling them as your own, shipping them into Amazon FBA that way. And with that method, I think a lot of people use some sort of shipping agent to make sure everything goes okay, but that's not at all what we're doing with drop shipping. Again, even if you're drop shipping from China, I've never heard of anyone using a shipping agent. You just buy it from like AliExpress and the seller ships it themselves. But if you're here in the United States, if you're using US-based suppliers, which is what I recommend, you obviously don't have to worry about that at all. What is the conference in Miami for Amazon about? So that's actually about online arbitrage. My buddy, Romer the Romer's putting that on, and my friend Steve will be there, and a couple other people I've connected with who are Amazon sellers, like Miles. A couple other people will be there. So I'm kind of just interested in, I'm friends with a lot of those guys, so I thought it'd be a cool chance to hang out with them, kind of catch up and stuff like that. So I'll be at that, learning some new skills. And again, I'll be talking about this more in the channel. Just going to be transparent with you guys. I love drop shipping. It's what got me into all of this. I still think drop shipping is the simplest way and the lowest barrier to entry, lowest hurdle kind of way to get into the e-commerce world. You don't need to spend a lot on inventory up front. You don't need a warehouse. You can do it while traveling. It's like a great business model, especially for beginners. But I'm always looking for ways to level up and to try new stuff. New stuff excites me. And I've done really well with dropshipping. I know there's always more potential. I mean, I'm not the best dropshipper in the world. I've done really well, made a lot of money, but there are people out there who have made what I've made probably in my entire dropshipping career. They've probably done it in like 6 months or a year. Like, no joke. There are huge dropshippers out there. But like I said, I love learning new stuff. So I'm checking out some new stuff on Amazon. Well, I made a video last year explaining why I stopped dropshipping on Amazon. And I said I would be back. I said I would be back on Amazon one way or another, because I see the biggest platforms out there for e-commerce as Amazon, eBay, and right now I would say Facebook Marketplace. I might be wrong about that. I'm sure there's maybe with Facebook there's bigger places like Etsy or something like that. But for me, like, those are like the three big platforms where I see the most potential, I should say. So I want to be represented on all three of those. eBay and Facebook Marketplace I got down already. Amazon has been something I was on but dropped off of, and I'm ready to like plunge back into it and find a way to make Amazon work and to challenge myself, learn some new skills. So that's what I've been doing, or looking at doing, and finding a way that works for me. So yeah, again, I'll be making more specific content about that, kind of sharing with you guys what it is I'm doing on Amazon specifically. That's different from dropshipping. Oh, there's a question about it. Any plans on doing Amazon arbitrage or FBA course? That's like way in the future. That's like potential way in the future. I mean, right now I'm learning it myself. So nothing even thought about, on that level. iCourse says, when you do product research, you search by category of what your eBay store sells. Apparently, eBay algorithm picks up on that, be an everything seller account. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that last part, but what I can tell you, man, is that eBay doesn't care if you're a general store or a specific store. Okay, they just want to, I don't know why my AC turned off. What the heck? I think it thinks that we have to go into like saver mode, which I appreciate, but I'm a little warm right now. So we're going to turn on the AC. All right. Yeah, so they don't care. They just care that you're listing on products that people want to buy. So that's all that matters to them. So yeah, sell. The point is, you should be selling a wide variety of items. You should be going wide, not deep. Because if you go deep on like one category, what if that's a category that doesn't even do well on eBay, right? Or what if it's a category that isn't good for dropshippers on eBay, because there's people who can do it wholesale for a lot cheaper. So it's better to go wide, sell a wide variety of items until you find what works for you. Then of course, if something works for you, double down on that. Sell similar products in that niche. But I would never become super niche specific, okay? Always sell a wide variety of items. Best site for wholesale. This is something that is kind of a trade secret, right? Something I talk about in my wholesale course, which is that when you find a good wholesale supplier, you shouldn't share it with anyone. One of the hard things about wholesale dropshipping is finding good wholesalers that are going to dropship for you on favorable terms with good pricing, that have good products, that check off all those boxes. You'll find them if you look hard enough and actually call and talk to them and work out deals with them. But it's going to be difficult, which is why most people are not going to do it. Most people are not going to do wholesale dropshipping for that reason. And whenever there's an opportunity where people, or there's a way to make money that is difficult, or there's roadblocks to get to it, that is a huge opportunity, because most people are just not going to do it. They're going to drop out way early. As soon as you get through those roadblocks, as soon as you find a good wholesale supplier, that is the hard part. And then it gets very easy from there. So you just got to put in that work up front. And you only need really only need one good wholesale supplier, but obviously that's putting all your eggs kind of in one basket. If you have 2 or 3, that's really all you need. 2 or 3 good wholesale suppliers. think you mean the orders. Cartoon says, how are people able to sell Nike, Adidas, etc. at wholesale prices? Are those people drop shipping? Probably not. So brands like that, Nike and Adidas, I would not drop ship ever, especially on eBay, because their Vero program. I would not drop ship those products. If you want to do that with online arbitrage or retail arbitrage, that's a different matter, because you actually have proof that you've already purchased it before you listed it, kind of thing. And a lot of those people are buying them at like outlets and getting them on sale at outlets, so they're able to get it cheaper than retail and then sell it above retail. Casey says, sometimes I see eBay buyers that have a ton of feedback, like thousands in a month, but I can't read their feedback. Are they drop shippers? Sometimes they're not. So on eBay, when you look at sellers' feedback, sometimes it says it's a private listing and you can't actually read the feedback itself. Technically, you're not. It's weird. eBay gives you the ability to make it a private listing, which basically just means that anyone logging in can't see the feedback. But it's silly because you can still see if it was positive or negative feedback. Technically, you're only supposed to use it in certain situations. I don't remember what situations you're technically allowed to use private listings in, but you're technically not supposed to just because you don't want people to see it. Yeah. So I wouldn't worry about it. I just wouldn't worry about it. What to do if someone buys the item but you don't have it in stock anymore? That's why it's really important to use a software like AutoDS, like a repricing, restocking software. That will make sure that if the item goes out of stock, it goes out of stock on eBay for you. But if you're already in the situation, or let's say it sells and before you go to order it, then it goes out of stock, then you want to try to find the item on a different website. Or if you can't find that item, find a really similar item, reach out to the buyer, see if they would take that one instead. That's usually a good place to start with it. Oh, Evan, good suggestion, man. So he says, will you be archiving the course videos on semi-manual listing and repricing for those who wish to continue with this method? I didn't think about that, Evan, but I will definitely do that. What I'm going to do, and thank you for that suggestion. Oops, I tried to screenshot, but it went away. What I'll do, Evan, is I will move all of them into a lesson probably at the end of the course called, there's already a lesson down, probably something like I'll just call it like semi-automated vault lessons or something like that. It will be at the very bottom of the course for you. That's a great suggestion. Hey, $2 super chat. Appreciate that, man. Love your avatar there with the Pokemon. You didn't even ask a question. All right. Sweet. Here we go. I bought the Dropshipping Titans course at the beginning of the year, but didn't get a chance to start it because I didn't have enough time. I decided to try now that we're getting closer to Halloween. Can I still join the Facebook group? Yeah, man. So there's no Facebook group actually. So we've set up a private forum for all the members of the course. If you go into the first module of the course, just log into the course itself, go to the first module, and there's a link there to actually access the forum. If you have any problems, you can reach out to us, Paul at pauljlipsky.com, and we'll make sure you get in. No problem. But anyone who joins the course gets access to that private forum. We used to do it on Facebook. Facebook groups, I don't know what it is, man. They just get full of spammers. Like we thought we had it locked down. Like that Facebook group I created was supposed to be only for members who had paid for the course. And yet somehow people were sneaking in, they were spamming it. They were, trying to sell their own scammy products in there. I'm like, how did these people even get in here? It just doesn't make any sense. So that really, really stunk. And it's just with Facebook, it's just like no way around it. I don't know what it is. Ever since we moved it to our own website, it's been a lot better in that regard. Yeah. Conscious Future says, will it be more difficult to get buyers if I start a new account for dropshipping? I have an account that I use to sell household items with 22 positive reviews. Will it be easier to sell with it? It will be a little bit easier, but it doesn't make a huge difference, honestly. Reviews are a bit overrated, in my opinion. If you keep your reviews, as long as you keep your review percentage good, like above like 95%, you'll be fine. People don't really look that hard at reviews most of the time. Do some buyers do it? Yes, of course. But it doesn't make as big of a difference as you would think. And I know that because when I finally created my second eBay account, I only had one for a while. When I created a second one, I took the same products I was already selling, put them into that new account, all my Walmart items at the time, put them into that new account, and they started selling right away. So what mattered to people was it was the right product with the right title, and that's why they bought it. It didn't matter that I had no reviews on that account. Is eBay dropshipping any different than a normal one? What is a normal one? What do you mean by that? Like Shopify dropshipping? It's very different from Shopify dropshipping. Shopify dropshipping, you have to pay for ads, you have to pay for a website, you have to pay for a domain name, you have to build a website, you have to pay for ads. I say that, well, you have to pay for them again because they're so expensive. With eBay dropshipping, you don't have any of that. You're selling on eBay, you don't have to build a website, you don't have to buy a domain name. It's a lot easier to get started with it. Let's see. Alejandra says, hey, Paul, I noticed some sellers that are dropshipping to eBay at what seems to be the same price as the source or even less. What do you make of that? Thanks. There's a few things happening there. Some of those people aren't dropshipping. They've got the item wholesale, or they've done some sort of arbitrage, like online arbitrage, where they bought it from the supplier when it was discounted and like kind of stacked discounts to get it, kept it at their house, and now they're selling it on eBay now that the price has gone back up. So there's a lot of that. It's like legitimate stuff. Then there's some sketchy stuff like someone else mentioned it in the chat, like some of them might be using stolen gift cards or stolen, what'd you say? Credit cards. Yeah. But even stolen gift cards as well, or gift cards purchased with stolen credit cards. So there's definitely some sketchy stuff that's possible. But hopefully those people get kicked off and karma comes back for them. Doesn't Amazon charge a monthly fee to sell? Yeah, but it's like $40, and for what you get access to all their customers for that. All right, guys. So, all right. Bam him. Okay, so appreciate the super chat. It's really funny if you guys send me like these super stickers. I can't actually see it with the software they use for my live streams, so it just explains what it is. It says Shiba dog saying, "Hey you, greeting joyfully." So I appreciate it, man. I'm sure the sticker looks awesome. It's just really funny that the software does that. I don't know why it does that. All right. Quick question from Igor saying, are you finding it more time consuming listing items with eBay's new listing system? Not at all, because if you're listing, you should be using software. If you're doing a full API, just plug it into AutoDS and it just lists the item for you. You don't have to worry about anything. If you're going non-API, you can use my Chrome extension. The Chrome extension will copy and paste everything for you. So it doesn't take you any time really to list the item at all. So even with non-API, there's still software that's possible. All right, so that's the full hour, guys. Thanks everyone for sticking around to hear about the updates. If you guys have any further questions about these updates, just kind of recap them again for maybe people who joined late. We've switched stores over to full API. We don't see any difference with that besides the benefits of full integration, full automation. It's just a lot easier to use, a lot simpler to use. So I'm updating the course to reflect that. There are some workarounds now to be able to use Amazon as a supplier, so that will be in the course. Updates to product research. Well, not updates, just kind of like refreshing the lessons on product research. So what I'm going to do now is it's 3 o'clock Mountain Time. I'm going to end the live stream here, and I'm going to upload those videos. All the videos for the course, they've been recorded, they've been edited, they're ready to go, and I'll be adding them in right now. Should be done in a couple of hours. And then, the new updates will be there. The old lessons I'll put at the bottom of the course if you guys want them. If you still want to go manual, those options are there for you down at the bottom of the course. But again, if you have any questions about what we went over, just send me an email, paul@pauljlipsky.com. Reach out to me on the gram, @PaulJLipsky. You can kind of talk to me directly. So, thanks for sticking around, everyone. And I'll see you during the next live Q&A next week. Bye for now.